Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Flip Flop Family Podcast. My name is Eileen, I'm the mum of the crew and sometimes dubbed as the overcommitter. How are you doing? How is your week? Yes, it is half-term week. Are you away? Are you planning lots of fun things to do with the kids? Or are you not a parent or anyone to do with kids? And are you just super happy that you get a week of no traffic on the roads? Whoever you are, so pleased to have you here and good to chat. As always, my favorite time of the week. And this week, I really wanted to talk about how I am always running late. Now, I know that I'm not the only one. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I am known as a bit of an overcommitter. Like, I am a multitasker and I just cannot say no to things, and I tend to take on a lot and not very good at delegating. I feel like I've got a bit better over the years, but there is still a lot of room for improvement. And the most worrying thing about it is that when you know you're a certain way and then you see it rubbing off on your children, you realize that it's about time you do something about it. And do you know what? It's not like I haven't tried before. In my previous car, the clock was always set as 10 minutes fast, so that my plan was that if it was fast, we would get to places earlier, than we expected, because we're always late anyway. And that kind of worked for a while until Emiliana was like, Mum, this clock is incorrect. And then she adjusted it. That helped me a bit. And then I went through a phase of trying to tell myself in my brain, like, that if I had to be ready to leave the house at 5, I would always change it by 30 minutes. So I'd be like, right, no, we've got to be ready by 4:30, because I know no matter what, I will not be ready to leave at 5. And the worst thing is that Emiliana is just like me. So now she is the last person at the door. So we have this rule in our house, because the kids are always complaining about shotgun, who wants to sit in the front of the car. So now I have a rule that whoever is down first gets to sit at the front. So as you can imagine, Emiliana doesn't get much of a look in, because she takes ages to get ready. No matter whether it's school or anything it is, she just takes an eternity. I also take a while to get ready, but I don't think it's the getting ready for me. It's the kind of, the tasking, the sorting out of everybody's outfits when we go out, or, the snacks, or eating before we go. I just find myself doing this stuff. And then Ben casually comes home from the gym. I mean, he does all his stuff, like his tasks before, or he's just way better with his time so that he can get to the gym. And then he comes in, gets ready way after me, and is literally waiting at the door. And I know I'm not the only culprit here. Like, if you agree with me, say hey. You know that you're one of those people. I think it's a very common thing. And don't get me wrong, I know there are probably a lot of people listening who are super punctual and absolutely hate people like me who are always late. And it's really funny, because I have this one group of friends, and within our group, there's someone in it who is notoriously late for every single time we meet up. And it's great, because I recently found out, after like a decade of knowing each other, that they don't know that I'm a late person. And that is because she's always so late that it's completely masked the fact that I may be late, but just a little bit. Or maybe I'm just, quite good at being on time for them. I don't know. But it was really nice to know that people didn't think of me as being Eileen. Oh, she's always late. I just find that life sometimes is an absolute impossible balancing act. There's just too much to do. There's not enough hours in the day. And there's that eternal hope that next week will somehow be a bit calmer and won't take on so much. It's funny, because I was not feeling so great over the weekend, and we had kind of a few family get-togethers, and I was saying to Ben how I didn't feel very well, but I just can never say no. And then I went on in the next breath to talk about how I was going to have people over, and he was like, but you just said that you never say no. Maybe you need to say no so you can take a break. And I was like, no, but I don't want to miss out on seeing my friends and my family. So then, what can you do? If you want it all, you want your cake and you want to eat it too, you're either going to burn out at some point, or you are just going to be late to everything because you want to do everything. I absolutely love lists. And I have to say that, with the whole AI situation that has just come into our world, it has really helped. Like, I use Alexa a lot. Like, my children and even Ben, they'll ask me, like, Ben will be like, oh, babe, he'll be in the kitchen. He'll be like, oh, babe, we've run out of lemons. And my usual answer is, tell Alexa. Like, don't tell me. And then he's like, but I like to tell you so that you can tell Alexa. Honestly, kills me. This kind of stuff kills me. But if you tell Alexa, it means I won't forget. But it starts to make me think, like, is AI making us all a bit stupid? Because before, we'd have to remember, or we would just get a pen and paper and write a list and then remember to look at the list. But I feel like with AI, if it's not used correctly, like we're just not using our brains, It's like when you sit down and you sort of live like a sedentary lifestyle and you don't move your legs and you don't go for a walk. If you don't use it, you lose it. And I think that's the same mentally. Like if we don't exercise our brains and use them enough, we're going to lose them. So then AI is definitely going to be smarter than us. Now, I know I've gone a bit sideways and we're definitely got to do a podcast episode all about AI and the pros and cons of it. But right now we're talking about how I am always late, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who just struggle with keeping on top of things. I do some days feel really productive because I'm a big lover of lists. So I have Colornote on my phone where I keep lists for everything. Then of course I have Alexa, which has lists for not just food shopping, but I have like an IKEA list, and then I have a kid's birthday list, and then I even have a Christmas list that when I think of stuff, I just tell Alexa and add it to that list, which is really, really handy. I'm a big lover of sticky notes. I like a whiteboard. I also WhatsApp myself. Actually, I was telling my sister the other day that she could WhatsApp herself. So if you didn't know, that is a game changer, because we have a group, me and my sister, and she started messaging me all this random stuff that like I didn't need to know. And I was like, this is not relevant to our group. And she's like, no, but I'm just messaging because then I won't forget it. And I was like, you can actually WhatsApp yourself. And I don't know if a lot of people do know that. So if you just search for yourself in WhatsApp, you can message yourself. And I use it a lot. Whenever I see recipes that I like, I'll always share the web address to myself in WhatsApp. Going on holiday, I will write lists. Every time I think of stuff that I need, I'll WhatsApp it to myself. It's just quite an easy way to keep lists of things and reminders. I think my problem is that I just never seem to be able to be realistic about the time it takes to do each task in my day. I'm constantly overestimating what I can do and try to fit in way too many tasks in the day. And I don't really know when I'm going to learn, because the bottom line is, if I did less and said yes to less, I would manage to get more. I wouldn't be late, and I would be able to get to places and do things and enjoy those tasks more, because I'd be able to give it my attention and the quality instead of like frantically running from here to there. But that is literally what my brain is like. I'll think, I'll just pop to Waitrose or Lidl, and then I'll come home and I'll quickly fold the laundry, and then I'll do all the admin that I've got to do for the kids when I get emails from schools and their agents and their constant forms that I have to complete. And then I'll quickly have my lunch. Or no, the funny one that I do is it will be like 2:30 and I'll have to pick Zach up from school at 3:20, and I'll think to myself, I can get a quick swim in. I think I absolutely must do Ben's head in when I do this stuff, because he is always on time and early for stuff. I mean, even just now, actually, before recording this podcast, Ben had gone to pick up Zach from school. And he had to pick him up early. And I was like, aren't you hungry, babe? And he was like, yeah, I'm hungry, but I don't have time. And I was like, what do you mean? You've got loads of time. And I was working my way backwards. But again, like for me, the amount of time I give myself to get there and park, and then the amount of time to then pick him up and take him to the next place is way shorter, because I don't factor in any issues. I don't factor in traffic. I don't factor in not being able to park. I don't factor in the learner driver in front of me that is driving like 2 miles an hour. And that is my problem. So it's not like I'm not aware. I am fully aware. And if you are like me and you have some tips and you can help me to sort my life out, I'd really appreciate that. To be honest, I just don't think there's any helping me. Sometimes I think that maybe I'm addicted to being busy, because even when I do finally get that sort of 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I manage to fill it. Like I'll pop out to the outhouse and do a little bit of DIY, or I'll decide to put another load on, or maybe I'm like, the kids would love some cupcakes, so then I'll start baking. So maybe that is just me. I mean, I think in general, we've been sold this sort of idea that if we just plan harder, try harder, get up earlier, we'll finally get on top of things. But honestly, I just don't think there is a top, and I think the list just doesn't end. So maybe the idea or the answer is to skim the lists down. Maybe look at the lists, delegate, see who can do this and who can do that. And that really brings me on beautifully to my game changer this week, which is a little gadget that I have named Mateo. Mateo is the form of a robot Hoover and mop, and it is amazing. It's like this round black disc thing that hovers around our house, and I only got it like a week or two ago, but it is a literal game changer, and that is one thing that we have been able to swipe off the list. I feel like Hoover mainly downstairs, and Ben does the other 2 floors. But downstairs we have an extension, so it's quite a big hard floor area that I just cannot get on top of, and there is nothing worse than walking around and feeling some crumbs under your feet. Do you know what I mean? So Mateo has been life-changing, and I feel that if you can get one, you should get one too. I set it when I go to bed. It's got like zones and rooms in my house, so I just press the button and off it goes. It's really good with like collision detection. It doesn't start picking up socks or things that are lying around. I mean, you do have to keep the area clear, like if you want everything to be hoovered, so moving like shoes away from the front door and stuff. But it's amazing. I haven't even used the mop feature yet, and I already think it's phenomenal. So game changer this week is an automatic robot Hoover. And if you can't get the hoovering done one day, or you don't manage to load the dishwasher before you go to sleep, I think what we need to understand is that things are always going to be a bit unfinished. And I don't think we are ever going to be on top. And that's just the chaos of life, family life. And instead of being on top of our lists, maybe we just need to live inside them and accept that it is what it is. The lists of lists. And those lists will never end. Of course, it's a beautiful thing when you tick them off, but of course, more things are just going to arrive on that list, and we're going to have to just keep plodding on. We have touched on a few of the little things that I do to try and help me stop being late, but I'm just going to reiterate. Here's some 10 realistic tips to help you stop being late. Well, most of the time, obviously. Work backwards from reality, not fantasy. That's my biggest problem. Be real about how long things take, or maybe just add some more time. Double it if you need to. It's better to be on time and waiting than it is to be late. Try doing the add 15 minutes rule. So obviously I was doing the add 10 minutes rule in the car, but adding 15 minutes to every task is going to give you some breathing space. And for any random chaos that hits you as you're walking out the door, like your son saying, "I've forgotten my guitar," you have that time, and you're not going to get upset about being late, and then you're not going to get mad at your kids, which is going to make you feel like a much better person. Prep the night before. Just keep it simple. Do all the stressy stuff the night before so you can sleep easy and you know that it's ready when you wake up. Set 2 alarms. I think a lot of people are snoozers out there. One to start getting ready, and one to actually leave the house so that you know you'll have enough time. Batch your chaos. So if you're always rushing between tasks, try grouping your errands or your chores. So you can have like your life admin block per week, emails, forms, appointments. And the following week, you might have kids admin, so you can deal with their stuff. Maybe blocking it into sections may make you feel less erratic. Stop over scheduling. Gosh, I need to take this advice so badly. I think this is actually the hardest one for parents, because you generally try to make everyone happy. Like, I always feel bad to say no when Zach has something he wants to do, and then Emiliana has somewhere she wants to be, but then I also want to go and see like my mom or hang out with a friend. So you just do always feel like you're running behind and that you can never catch up, but something has got to give. So just try and have a day for one and a day for another, I guess. Have a grab and go station. So by the door, keep a little bag of essentials, your keys, your wallet, some change, school notes, water bottles, bits and pieces that you can just put there so you know that they're ready to go. Use visual clocks. And I think that's a great one for kids too, because you'd be surprised, especially these days, how kids, they're just so used to looking at their phones or something digital, but having like a big clock, like we have one in our downstairs, and I'm actually looking, I'm in the market of a big clock for the hallway on the kids' landing so that they can clearly see what time it is. And I'm hoping that by visually seeing the time, they'll feel like, okay, I need to get myself going. Plan transitions and not just tasks. So we always worry about the event, but we need to think about the transition, getting there and back, and also some time to breathe in between. So getting the coats, getting the shoes, just not feeling rush and like last minute spiraling out of control. So plan those transitions and add a bit more time. Lastly, forgive yourself. And most importantly, try again tomorrow. No matter how hard we try, we are going to be late because life happens. But beating yourself up about it is only going to add stress. So focus on improving patterns, maybe by using some of these methods, which might help you, and not on perfection. If you go out the door a little smoother today than yesterday, I feel like that's progress. One thing that we've been doing this week that has really helped with freeing up some time to do the other things is we tried out Gousto this week. I'm sure you've already heard of Gousto. It's like a meal prep service where they basically deliver your meals, basically everything you need, every ingredient. So apart from, I think, oil, butter, that kind of thing, but generally you get all the ingredients you need. So you go onto the website or the app and you select the meals that you would like to have, and it arrives at your door completely ready, which is absolutely phenomenal. So this week we did a Gousto, and you can check out our Instagram at the Flip Flop Family, and we have put up some videos and pictures of our week. We tried to split the week so that everyone in the family could do some cooking. So we had 5 meals. I think I did 2, and then we shared the others amongst Ben and the kids. And it was really nice, actually. My food shop that week was so cheap because I had an amazing 60% off voucher, which I'm also going to put the promo code underneath that video on the Flip Flop Family on Instagram. If you'd like to try it out, you get free delivery and 70% off. So for 5 meals for family of 4, it cost me £21, which is insane to think about. So you're thinking right there, £20 divided by 5, that's £4. That's £1 a meal. £1. When do you ever get a home cooked meal for £1? It was amazing. And then when I did my grocery shop, I only did the extras like, milk and yogurt and that kind of stuff. But I hardly spent anything, which is amazing. In the current climate, when everything's getting more and more expensive, when you can find a deal, I say grab it. So if you haven't tried Gousto before, do check it out. Get that promo code from Instagram at the Flip Flop Family and try it out and let me know what you think. The other nice thing about it is that it really increases your repertoire of meals. So if you found yourself a bit stuck and sort of eating the same things week in, week out, this is a really nice way to just zhuzh things up and try something different. We really enjoyed Gousto this week, so why not try it out too? My song of the week has actually come about in a really funny way. So I love making reels on Instagram, and I'm always trying to find the right song for the reel or the post or the story that I'm putting up. I like the song to kind of reflect what I'm talking about. And I came across this song from one of the reels that I did, and I just absolutely love it. So I've added it to the Flip Flop Family podcast Song of the Week playlist on Spotify and Apple. So check it out. It's called Chai and Sunshine, which, if you know me, that is like my perfect combination. Like there was times when Ben and I first met and we'd be on the beach and he'd go and get a cold beer and then grab me my chai because I like a nice hot tea even if it's boiling. So Chai and Sunshine by Anjali, and you can check it out on the Flip Flop Family podcast Song of the Week playlist. My dish of the week this week is something that I made a while ago, and they are vegetable sausage plats. They're like these kind of pastry, sausage rolly pastry looking things, but they have no meat in them. Emiliana actually made them a while ago, and I remembered them because they just tasted so good that I fancied making them again. You can find the recipe on Instagram on the Flip Flop Family Kitchen, vegetable sausage plat. And the lovely thing about it is that over half term, you might be trying to find things to do at home with the kids if the weather's no good. And she made these on her own, and I think it's really fun working with pastry with kids. And the nice thing about this is that it is the pastry is so yummy. You make the pastry as well. It's just got like flour, butter, and it uses fromage frais, but I didn't have any, so I used yogurt. And the middle, the filling, is spinach and cheese, and it doesn't sound good, but it's so delicious. And because it's a plat, it's also really fun to do, whether it's just you doing it or doing it with kids, like kind of, crossing over, and you'd be amazed how nice you can make it look. So check it out, vegetable sausage plat on the Flip Flop Family Kitchen page. However you end up spending this half term, I hope you have a really amazing time and spending time with family, which is the most important thing, because investing in who you love is gonna just make your heart feel full. And I feel that it's the best investment is time with friends and family. So have yourself an amazing week off. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have listened to other episodes, we appreciate you being loyal listeners. And if this is the first time, we hope you've enjoyed it. We'd love for you to comment. Make sure you click on the little alarm bell and it will let you know every time we release a new episode, which is every single week. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Xylene and this is the Flip Flop Family Podcast. Bye.